Ancient Roman historians record that she dreamed of her husband bleeding in her arms, of sacred statues pouring blood, of Rome in mourning. At dawn, she begged Julius Caesar not to go to the Senate. What is often forgotten is that Caesar agreed. He decided to stay home. He was persuaded otherwise by Decimus Brutus, who mocked him for letting a woman's fear in a dream control the ruler of Rome. Caesar feared appearing weak more than he feared being wrong. At the Senate, he was surrounded by conspirators and stabbed 23 times. Calpurnia was dismissed as emotional. History remembers the assassins, not the warning. Nearly 19 centuries later, Mary Todd Lincoln lived with constant dread. She had already buried children and endured years of civil war inside the White House. She spoke repeatedly of dreams involving death, funerals, and a body guarded by soldiers. In the days before the assassination, Abraham Lincoln himself described a dream in which he walked through the White House and discovered a corpse lying in state. Mary begged him not to go to Ford's Theater. Lincoln refused. He believed public appearances were necessary. He believed the danger had passed. On April 14, 1865, one gunshot ended his life. Mary Todd Lincoln was later institutionalized and labeled unstable. Modern historians note that Lincoln had received repeated assassination threats, and that her fear was grounded in real danger, not fantasy. In 16th century France, Catherine de' Medici warned her husband not to joust. She was deeply involved in court intelligence, diplomacy, and political forecasting. A prophecy attributed to Nostradamus described a king killed when a splinter pierced his eye through a golden cage. Catherine begged Henry II of France to avoid the tournament celebrating a peace treaty. He dismissed her concerns as superstition. During the joust, his opponent's lance shattered. A fragment passed through Henry's visor, entered his eye, and penetrated his brain. He died after 10 days of agony. Catherine never publicly claimed prophecy afterward. She ruled France in silence and calculation. Before the Russian Revolution, Tsarina Alexandra wrote desperate letters to her husband. She warned that the streets were unstable, that food shortages and strikes were accelerating, and that the monarchy was increasingly isolated from reality. She begged Nicholas II not to leave the capital and take personal command of the army. He ignored her. His departure tied military failure directly to his name and left the government without authority. Within 2 years, the monarchy collapsed. In 1918, the Romanov family was executed in a basement. Alexandra was not predicting fate. She was accurately reading political pressure. In Britain, Queen Alexandra repeatedly warned of German militarization years before the First World War. Born into Danish royalty, she had personal reasons to distrust Germany, but her concerns were not imaginary. She urged caution, military preparedness, and vigilance, while others believed war was unlikely. When war finally came in 1914, her warnings proved prescient. She was remembered as anxious, not accurate. In the United States, Eleanor Roosevelt warned her husband about dangers his advisors ignored. She traveled the country extensively, listened to workers, minorities, and the poor, and reported growing unrest long before it appeared in official reports. She warned Franklin D. Roosevelt about racial violence, labor instability, and the political consequences of silence. Many of her warnings were initially dismissed as emotional or ideological. History proved otherwise. In each of these moments, the pattern is not prophecy. It is emotional strength under pressure. These women lived closest to power but farthest from its illusions. They absorbed fear, tension, and consequence long before it reached official reports or public speeches. While certainty protected authority, their awareness protected truth. They were allowed to feel what leaders could not afford to admit, to sense danger without denying it, to speak warnings without the shield of rank or force. Power demands confidence, even when confidence is misplaced. But survival often begins with doubt, the courage to say something is wrong before proof arrives. History does not collapse without warning. It whispers first, through unease, through instinct, through the people brave enough to listen to fear instead of silencing it. The tragedy is not that these women were ignored. The tragedy is that their clarity was mistaken for weakness.